was up writing very early this morning, and I thought, maybe a little more detail on the microplastics might be a good idea. So this is my second video on this issue. What's important to understand is that I'm standing on one of the major sources of grinding up this stuff, sand. The amount of garbage dumped into the ocean is appalling. That's not recycling. We're led to believe all kinds of weird shit, but that's not it. It happens right here. This is where the plastics get delivered. This is where the plastics get ground up. And every now and then you can see a little bit here and there. It's a big problem. Here's the problem with you and I, is that when we eat this stuff, or we breathe this stuff and it goes into the lungs and it gets on the mucus and the mucus gets swallowed and it gets digested, it gets into the system. There's a reason why ovaries, testes, brains, thymus, heart, all this stuff is filling up with plastics. It's because it has to be delivered there somehow. You can't get topically exposed to much plastic. So it has to go in the bloodstream. And it's distributed through the bloodstream every 20 seconds. It goes right through the thyroid gland every 20 seconds. So 3 times a minute, your blood system's recirculating through all the organs of the body. So yeah, it's delivering this stuff. So reducing it there really, really helps. The problem comes in the fact that when you do reduce some of it is moved to the lymphatic system. It's done in a very strange way. Macrophages have an affinity for polystyrene. So the polystyrene microparticles are engulfed by the macrophages. They drag it over the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system goes and drags it into these nodes. The nodes then deliver it to the lymphatic ducts, the thoracic ducts on this side, for instance, and goes right into the bloodstream. So that's why blood donation can get rid of some microplastics. It absolutely can. You can't do much. Depending on your exposure, you've got micrograms of microplastics in your blood. That's just the way it is now. So blood donation works. That's one good way to do it. Of course, the best way is to just cut the things out of your environment as much as you possibly can, and every now and then do a dry fast. Because what happens in the cells, because we have to worry about the cells, because that's what we are. The cells do this in the peroxisomes, the proteasomes, the lysosomes, and what happens is the lysosomes all this stuff delivered to the lysosomes in an effort to try and dissolve it, these little balls of hydrolytic acids. But sometimes the lysosomes get completely overwhelmed and they become toxified by the plastics. Then exocytosis takes place, mostly at night, because that's the kind of metabolism you have to be in for the cell to be signaled to encapsulate the plastic contaminated lysosome and get it out of the body into the lymphatic system, into the blood system for filtration and elimination in the gastric system, for instance. So yeah, therein lies the rub, isn't it? I mean, we have macrophages and they do help, and so stimulating more of them to grab more of this stuff to get it into the filtration system to get rid of it is a good thing, and that's where the stem cell regen stuff comes in, because it stimulates blood-borne cells to be stimulated by production in the bone marrow. We have this system, and of course in the cellular systems we have distributed degradation systems all through the cells. So that's why dry fast also helps. It puts brand new cells, genetically perfect, in place of old ones during the dry fast. That helps. And repairing cells that have been damaged by too much of this stuff, so that helps. My whole mantra here is you got to get sleep metabolism initiated to clean your body now in this polluted environment, which we now have. So you have to dump the plastics from your drinking bottles. You get a Voss bottle. They have a glass bottle. Perfect. I use that. And buy your food fresh. If you can buy it from a butcher, Jesus, buy it from a butcher, or go to the grocery store and have them cut the meat in front of you and pack it in paper. Don't put it in plastic. Don't bring it home in plastic. Take the plastics out of your environment if possible. Throw away your Tupperware. Throw away this stuff. Throw away your Teflon pans and pots that contaminate you with forever chemicals. I mean, I talk about it in the book, A Philosophy of Time Travel, and in that book it goes deeply into detail on what it is these things do, how it is your body gets rid of this stuff, and why a dry fast is so effective. I mean, it's just a calculated period of deliberate sleep, even when you're awake, if you just turn the metabolism on that first night. It's a beautiful thing. So yeah, dry fasting will get rid of it. A lot of it will get rid of some of the stuff with a real, small particle size that gets into the cells via the excitosis, which I previously described. Also, it gets into the gastric system, which again gets concentrated in the bowel and removed in the feces, which is a huge concentration of, of plastics coming out. And of course, you can reduce the exposure of your bodily system to these plastics, because here's the thing they're not talking about. All these guys talk about get rid of plastics, blah blah. Get rid of them because to break them down, the concentrated metabolic materials to break them down is very damaging. Even though they're briefly exposed to this stuff, to break it down, if you can decrease your exposure, you don't have to break so much down. I talked to Ben Davidson, my friend at spaceweathernews.com, and we agree that this thing up here, it may solve the problem in 20 years. Just wipe the slate clean, maybe, who knows. But in the meantime, you got 20 years to get your body safe and sound and strong and youthful and be able to weather the storms coming. There should be several coming. One of the storms is this storm where we dump our trash into the oceans. The oceans grind it up into sandpaper and makes microplastics, which contaminate the fish, which contaminate the reefs, which contaminate everything. Stop the plastics production. Stop it. Get a cloth bag for your grocery store. Don't take that plastic bag. Just think what you're doing to yourself and your future and your health. If you get a lot of the plastics out of your system and coming into your system, because you almost can't avoid it, then you're going to have a chance to get rid of a lot of it, if not most of it, at night while you sleep, if your body's in a good condition, like we talk about in A Philosophy of Time Travel, and do some dry fast like I talk about in the Phoenix Protocol, and learn how to keep yourself safe and sound and well, and especially how to avoid these forever chemicals and long chain polyethylene plastics. Anyway, that's the mission today. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for all the comments. By the way, the more comments is better, because I get new ideas for one, and it helps my algorithm go up. So please subscribe. Pass this on to other people that have thought about dry fasting and what dry fasting can actually provide. And I will talk to you all later. I might have to do some snorkeling today. There's no waves at all. It's like a lake. Anyway, love you guys. Take care. Bye now.